Well, here we are again, another week. And unfortunately, the situation with the coronavirus seems to be getting worse, not better. The community spread seems to be increasing. And so I ask especially for your prayers this week for your vestry as we meet together and decide what to do for the best as far as in-person worship goes. It's curious, isn't it? Because this next weekend will be July the 4th. And this will be a very different July the 4th than most of us are used to. There won't be the usual cookouts and hanging out with family, the firework displays. Such a lot of change, such a lot of hard challenges for so many people, and also a time of high anxiety. So today I am going to, as usual, pick out one of the soul support cards and just see how that might speak to us this week in the midst of everything that everybody's going through. Really, since it should be red, white, or blue. Oh, here's a red one. Let's use the red one. And then I don't have any white ones. Let me see what the blue one is too. Let's see what that gives us. Oh, the blue one is blank. So let's just stick with the red one. So the red one says, follow what interests you. Follow what interests you. I wonder what that means for each one of us this week, to follow what interests us, because I'm just so mindful that for some of us to follow what interests us is kind of going to be hard. We're not necessarily able to do that. But as I think about following what interests me, I think about a couple of things. I've really been intrigued to learn a little bit more about my garden. I've been doing a lot more research since I've had more time, and I am interested and been watching some gardening shows. I'm kind of interested in trying to maybe grow some vegetables this winter. So I'm realizing that maybe is something that interests me, and that during this time of the virus, when I have had a lot of time to be on my own and think about various things and find things to do, that gardening I know is something that matters to me. The other thing that really interests me is that in these last few weeks, 8 weeks actually, I've been writing my thesis. And that's something that really interests me. The interest that I have in what it is for a church to be involved in the life of the neighborhood. For people in the church, people in the community to work together for the common good of the place that they find themselves in. And that interests me, to think a little bit more about what it means to be a neighbor to somebody. Now, I know for some of us, we live in retirement communities, and our neighbors are the people who we live next door to, perhaps, or who we usually associate with in various clubs or whatever. So that interests me to kind of think a little bit more about who is my neighbor. And especially in these times, how do I be a good neighbor? Well, it's good to be with you. Again, I wish I could actually see you. But I hope that this is meaningful in some way to help us to stay connected. And my prayers are with each one of you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And may God always hold you in the palm of God's hands. I love you. Bye-bye.